Have you ever tried to make a frame using a punch? I'm going to show you how. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to take the most recent punches that have released, the ones that came with those scenes bundles, and we're going to talk about how to turn those into frames. They're not frame punches, they are decorative punches made or designed to create borders, but you can use them to make frames. So I'm going to show you how. And I wanted to remind you that now is the time to sign up for my August Escape the Sun Scrap Sketch Challenge. We're going to do 15 challenges in the month of August, one every other day. And that will help you get caught up before the onset of all of your fall photos. So get your pictures printed now, copy and paste the link that's in the description of this video, and go and get signed up. Let's check out my workspace and we'll get started. All right, so this is my workspace for today. And let me just talk to you really quick about a couple of things. Now, we have talked before about Border Maker cartridges being three different types. You have an edge punch, you have what we call a chain punch, and then you have what we call a knockout punch. Now, the winged border punches, these also you could classify into the same three categories. You have an edge punch, you have a knockout punch, and you have a chain punch. Okay, so there are different kinds, and sometimes chains and edges or chains and knockouts are chains and knockouts, or edges and knockouts can be the same punch. But in this particular instance, with these 6 brand new punches that we've got, we have 2 that are chain punches. That is the lobster and the sharks, and they completely separate from your page when you punch them. And then we've got the cactus and the chicken coop and the bridge and the whale tails that are all edge punches, so they stay connected to your paper when you punch them. Now, typically, as you saw in the last video that I did, we use a frame punch to, or maybe it's not the last video, it might have been one before that, I can't remember, but in a recent one, we have punches that look just like this, but they are frame punches. A frame punch, as we said before, will have a line on the wing right here. Now you can see none of these do, but you can still punch a frame using these punches. I have figured out exactly how to help you do that with these punches so that you don't have to ruin a bunch of pieces of paper. I have already ruined them for you. So let me show you what I did. So if you take your ruler, and I just used a zero centering ruler for this, so I'm going to grab my zero centering ruler. And you'll notice on your zero centering Creative Memories ruler that on the right hand end you have a really nice breakdown of all of the little measurements in between. If you try to measure from this edge down this way, then you have a 1/2 inch where you're missing all of those measurements. So you can either measure from this end or you can measure from this end, but I like using the end of this because it's labeled, and so it's just a little bit easier to tell what you're doing. So if you use this end edge down here and you place it on the wing, have a Sharpie handy, a fine Sharpie, so one like this, okay, that's going to give you a really nice fine point. You're going to place your ruler all the way up against the back shoulder of your punch, and then align the left hand edge or the right hand edge depending on which which wing you're working on, with the outside of this casing. Okay, it has to be right in line with this because you're going to measure out from that plastic. And you're going to measure out exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7/16 of an inch. Okay, I'll write that down so that if what I'm saying is unclear, you will know. 7/16 of an inch. Okay, and basically it is the tiny little line before the 1/2 inch mark on your ruler. So just after where it says 1/8 on the 0 centering ruler, before that bold 1/2 inch mark is a little tiny line, and that is the 7/16 mark. Okay, so you're going to measure 7/16 of an inch on both sides of, on both wings of your punch, and that is going to help you out tremendously. Now this is for the edge punches, not the chain punches. We'll talk about those in a minute, but just for the edge punches. Okay, and let me show you how this is done. Let's do the whale tails because I think they're my favorite of all of these, even though they're all really fun. But I think I like this one the most. So we're going to unlock the punch, open it up, and I always like to hold it closed when I'm playing with the lock, either locking or unlocking, because you just never know and you don't want that spring to jump up and surprise you, right? All right, so I'm going to remove my extra practice pieces of paper here, and it is good to practice. I highly recommend that you use some scratch paper. These are just the cover sheets from different paper packs that I've used up, and so they work really fantastic for practicing this technique. So you're going to fold your paper and make a huge triangle, opposite corners together. Go ahead and crease it, but it doesn't have to be a crisp crease. It just needs to be flat enough that you can manage this paper. Okay, so you're going to start with the tip of your so here's your fold. You're going to start with the tip right at that mark, and the rest of your paper all the way to the back shoulder. Okay, so that's where you're going to start punching, and we're going to go ahead and punch down. Then we're going to then we're going to slide usually, but sometimes, as you saw with this one just there, I have to take it out and place it back in using the smooth edge of the paper because these get stuck. You don't want to keep punching if they are going to get stuck, because that's no good. No bueno, as they say. Okay, so I punch 3 times and then I pull it out, and this is the trick, so pay attention here. Okay, you're going to flip it from corner to corner, so we're just going to go like this. Okay, don't flip it this way, don't go like this. You need to take what we just punched up here and flip it this way. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to line that up, the corner right on that point that we've marked on the wing. Punch. This is extra, just throw that away. It's just a nice little 1-inch square. And then we're going to just punch and slide. We're going to punch it 3 times, just like we did on the other side. Okay, we're going to take it out. Then we're going to move that debris out of the way because sometimes that can interfere with our punching, and we don't want that to happen. We're going to open it up and we're going to fold it the other direction. Now, it's more important that you line up these last 2 whale tails rather than the rest of it. It doesn't matter if the rest of it lines up, but you need this to line up and this to line up. So let me show you. You're going to line this up with the last whale tail on the other side, and then you're going to go ahead and crease it out to the corner. Okay, same thing on this side. Line up that last whale tail, and ideally, if you have done it perfect, then the whole thing lines up and you have no issues, right? No problems at all. But occasionally we get in a hurry and things don't quite line up like you want them to. And, you know, I'm a realist. It happens. It happens to me just like it happens to you. So, okay. So then what we need to do, once we have this folded in half, we're going to flip this over. All right. And we're going to start it in from this side. And we're going to match the whale tails up again, just like that. Make sure this is pressed all the way to the back of the shoulder, and we're going to punch again, okay? And because the whale tail one actually cuts off a square for you on the end, not all of them do. So if it doesn't punch and cut off something on the end, then slide it and punch it one more time, and you'll be just fine. Okay, so we did it this way. We're gonna flip it just like we did before and slide it in again, just like we did on the other side. Very carefully. There's something in there that is not helping a girl out. All right, let's try this. That's better. Okay. So line up those whale tails, have that pushed all the way to the back, punch. There's our extra square that's going to go over there. We're going to pull it out gently towards the front, and then there we have our page frame. Okay, so super fun, and you could punch your design around the inside as well if you wanted to, just like we did the other day with the frame punches. I'm not going to do that and take up your time doing that because I want to show you how to do a frame using these chain punches. But isn't that fun? It's such a cute punch, and you can do this with any of these winged punches. I would use a pencil and measure the same length, the 7/16, and mark it on your wing with a pencil, and then try using your scratch paper and make sure that it works with the design you want to use, because every design is just a little bit different. But I have found that with all 4 of these edge punches, 7/16 of an inch on the wing is perfect. Okay, so I hope that you will try that. Let's try one of the chain punches. We're going to try the lobster, and the lobster, I got to tell you, he's a cutie, but he's a little persnickety little guy. So let me just advise you, if you have the lobster punch, and he is super cute and a lot of fun, especially because this is a knockout punch, so is the shark one. So you can use these lobsters as embellishments, or you can swap them out and put different colored lobsters in there. Punch it with one color and then swap out the lobsters with a different color lobster, which is super fun. But his legs do present a little bit of a hairy deal, and that is because they are kind of a pain. to be completely honest, they are kind of a pain. All right. Now, I said we were going to do these a little bit different, and you can see that I have marked the wings of the shark punch. I did not mark the wings of the lobster punch, because after I marked the wings of the shark punch, I realized I didn't need to. These are done differently, and so I should have used a pencil. I should have followed my own idea, my own guidance, but I did not do that. Okay, so let me show you. When you have a chain punch like this, you are going to start with the tip of your paper, the tip of your triangle. Again, the fold is right here, okay? The tip of your triangle is going to disappear just barely under the edge of your punch. So you put it in. I know you can't see that. Let me do it again. So you slide your paper in, and then you slide and slide and slide until you just barely can't see that tip of the paper. All right? It just barely disappears. And then you are ready to start punching. And this guy, because these lobsters are so finicky, and see they're already caught in there. They don't like to come out. And so I don't want to tear this paper and then have to start again. But we might have to, because this one is already stuck. So the part that I have found typically gets stuck on this is this little part right here between his claws. That gets stuck super, super easy, okay? So just a word to the wise, if you're going to try this with the lobster, you have got to bring your patience to the table and be very cognizant of the fact that it's just got to be, you've got to go slow, and you've got to be careful, and you've got to just be meticulous, right? So I'm going to just line this up, and I'm going to punch that little bit of extra end. It's only about a ½ inch right there that it still needs to be punched, but that's what happens. It does need to be punched. Okay, and then we're going to just punch and slide over again, just kind of like we did before, and hope that our lobster legs play nice. Okay, and if you're just not in a rush, then it should be okay. Now I've already punched that 3 times, so what I should do is go ahead and flip this. So we're going to flip this over, and I'm going to get rid of all the debris from underneath, which is really crucial when you have all kinds of things that can get hung up, okay? And we're going to start the whole process again. So we're going to go to the back, slide this until the tip is just disappeared underneath there, and then hope that we can get it out. It's sort of a prayer that I say every time I start this, because it just doesn't play nice with me. And it's nothing that you can see, it's nothing that I can really adjust or pull on the back to fix it. So you just have to kind of be lucky. I don't want to say be lucky, really, because that's not really what I mean, but you have to just bring your patience to the table. That really is the ultimate thing. Okay, so we just punch that extra little divot right there, and then we're gonna slide this in, line up this left side, and go ahead and punch. And let's see if we can successfully maneuver this from here on out. Let's move it each time. Maybe that will help too. Okay. All right, so now we've reached the point where we need to refold it. So we're going to take it and we're going to open it up, and we're going to fold this over. Now with a chain punch, again, you've got to make sure that center and the edges all fold together, okay? So just, again, bring your patience to the table. Line up the last little lobster that you punched. Okay. Then we're going to, let's see, we're going to flip it this way so that we're going to line up that lobster that's right there and heading to the lower right. There he is. Okay. There's that one. And we're going to just go ahead and punch right off the edge, just like that. Okay, so let's get this out. Oh, come on now. Come on. Come on. So that's that side. And let's flip it over so that we can do this last one. And again, I sort of hold my breath when I do these, when there's lots of little pieces like this on this lobster, because it's just, here we go, because it just doesn't like to play nice all the time. So come on, help a girl out here. There. Okay. Gonna line up that last one. The best we can. Okay, so there's that one. All the debris out of the way. That definitely helps if you can move all the extra little pieces that could possibly get caught out of the way. Definitely helps. So you can see how it just takes some patience, extra patience, but the rewards can be amazing, because look at this punch. This is such a cute frame that you can make using this punch. All right, so just keep that in mind. If you have a winged punch that is a chain, so it cuts away from your whole page, right? We didn't have to trim this, it just made its own frame really nicely. So if you're trying to make a frame using a chain punch, then you put the corner right at the corner of the punch. If you're trying to do an edge punch like these are, then you need the 7/16 mark out here on the wing. And I'm reasonably certain that that's true for all of them, but like I said before, put it in pencil, try it, make sure it works before you use your fancy paper. Okay? I hope that this has been fun and helpful, and I hope that it's something you can use in your albums. I just think it's super fun to make something cute like this. And if you were to extend your frame to make a 2-page layout and make the frame go all the way around the edge, we'll do that one day in a layout, and I'll show you how we can do that. Okay? Thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your week.